But I don't
Uh-huh.
think my dogs have ever watched TV. I don't know,
No, mine haven't either.
right? Okay. Hey, Heather.
Hi.
Heather.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Hey. We've got advanced today, Heather, but don't worry, it's just advanced level A.
Okay, perfect. I'm excited.
We decided that that sounds less intimidating than the word advanced. Jeez.
Level A. I like it.
All right, let's do this thing, my friends, I suppose. So I shall mute you guys. And then I'm spotlighted. If you need to spotlight me on your computer, go for it. And let's start in a comfortable seat. So I'm gonna kneel. But you can sit however you want to, whatever works for you. And then right away, just reach your arms up, clasp your hands, press your palms up, and stretch from side to side a little bit. So just back and forth. If it would feel good to you, then you might kind of round as you press your palms forward, or open your heart as you reach your palms back. So you can start to almost circle your torso a little bit if you want to. Or just whatever's calling to you from this position. And eventually, let your arms fall down by your sides and just kind of shake it out. Maybe roll your shoulders out or roll your head around a little bit. And then find stillness in your body. So you can place your hands on your lap. You can bring your hands to heart, or one hand to belly, one hand to heart. And start to drop into enjoiiii breath. Start to create that whisper noise as you breathe in and out. Make each inhalation really big, really spacious, really powerful. Each exhalation slow and steady and smooth all the way to the very, very, very bottom. And then take this enjoiiii breath with you, transition onto your hands and your knees, tabletop, and continue to connect with enjoiiii breath as you move through some cat-cow. So inhale to arch and find spinal extension. Exhale to round, find spinal flexion. So back and forth with your breath, slowly and intentionally. Feel into your spine. Feel into your shoulders and your hands and your fingers. If it would feel good anytime you'd like, maybe just give yourself a big open mouth sigh. And then in your next couple rounds, let's start to find our way back to downward facing dog. So curl your toes under when you're ready and lift your hips back and up, downward facing dog pose. In your down dog, just explore a little bit. Maybe pedal out your heels or shift your weight side to side. Maybe you adjust the way you have your hands set up or your feet set up. Just feel what it feels like to bring your hands out wider, or your feet out wider, or closer together. Take one more big, huge breath into your dog pose. And then just slowly walk your hands all the way back to the back of your yoga mat until you find yourself in a forward fold at the back of your mat. Just hang out there for a moment and maybe even ragdoll your arms. Bounce or sway or bob. Let your head be heavy, let your neck relax. Breathe into your back body. See if you can feel your back muscles stretching, lengthening. Keep your arms and your head heavy. And just really slowly roll all the way up to stand. All the way up to stand. And once you're standing, your head stacks. Roll your shoulders out. Roll your shoulders up, back and down a few times. And then eventually roll your shoulders back and down and just keep them there. Arms out to both sides, palms face forward, so open, receptive. Stand as neutral as you can through your pelvis and your spine. And feel your slow, steady, spacious breath flowing through you. Stay as you are and just fill up as big as you can. Hold at the top of that breath. And then take an extra little sip. Open your mouth and sigh it out. All right, enjoiiii breath. Switch it back on. Reach your arms up. Inhale. Hinge at your hips and dive down as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway. Get all the rounding out of your back. Exhale, plant your hands or your fingertips and crawl forward. So slowly crawl forward into a plank position. Top of a push-up. Spread your fingers and really push the ground away. Draw your belly button in and up. And maybe a little rock forward, little rock back. Keep everything really strong and engaged. So you're still drawing your belly button in and up. You're still pushing actively through your fingertips. Take one more inhale. Little rock forward. Come to your knees if you want to. Exhale, lower ever so slowly for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift your heart, baby cobra or full cobra. So you choose what feels best for you. And then let's take it back, downward facing dog pose. Enjoiiii breath. Really start to warm your body from the inside by using enjoiiii. Hey, Leslie, I'm happy you joined us. Welcome. Just move you around here. All right, so enjoiiii breath. Use it to hold and support you. And this time, one more big inhale into your down dog. And as you exhale, look forward to the top of your space. Step, tiptoe, or hop, forward fold, top of your mat. Once you've arrived, spinal extension, breathe in. And exhale, fold, let it go. Let's reverse swan dive. So lead with your heart to rise all the way up, arms overhead as you breathe in. And hands to heart center, exhale. Let's flow for a moment, breath to movement. Inhale, high mountain pose. Hinge at your hips, stick your butt out, reach your heart forward all the way down as you exhale. Halfway lift position, inhale. Exhale, plant your hands, feet to the back of your mat. Take an inhale at the top of your push-up. Push the ground away. Exhale, 3, lower, 2, 1. Belly to the ground. Inhale, lift your heart. Keep your shoulders back and down. Little tone in your belly, protect slow back. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Take an inhale into your dog pose. Lots of length and space. Exhale, gaze forward, step or hop, forward fold. Let's keep it moving. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, bow. Root through your feet, all the way up. Big full body stretch, inhale. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach, high mountain. Hinge at your hips and exhale, dive down. Big inhalation, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, feet back, plank or modified. Inhale at the top of your push-up. Find your strength. Slowly lower, 3, strong straight line, 2, 1. Back bend of your choice. Lift your heart, breathe in. Downward facing dog, exhale. This time we'll hold right here. Is your enjoiiii breath still there? Did you lose it? Bring it back, fire it up. Next time you inhale, right leg to the sky, 3-legged dog. And if you want, you can open your hip or just kind of feel around. Keep your strong hands, your strong fingers rooting down. Keep your strong core lifting up. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, use your strong core to step your right foot all the way up top of your mat. Low lunge. From low lunge, rise up to crescent lunge. So legs strong. Energetically pull your front hip back, back hip forward. So you're hugging towards midline. And then from those strong legs, your strong foundation, you can grow into your expression. You have support underneath you. Little tone in your belly, so draw your belly button back and up and feel how that supports your low back. So it shouldn't feel like you're flaring your ribs forward. It should feel like your spine is nice and neutral, and then you're just puffing up your chest. Breathe, slow, spacious breaths. And feel whatever there is to feel. One last round. And then at the end of your exhalation, bring your hands to your front thigh and lean forward. So there's a diagonal line from the crown of your head back to your heel. Pull your belly button back and up towards your spine a lot and see if you can feel your core engaged. Feel that connection to your center. Now keep that, lean forward, float your back foot off the ground. Keep pressing your hands firmly into your front thigh and keep your hips square, inner thighs face each other. You can stay here or only if you want to reach your right arm forward. So right arm reaching forward and left leg is reaching back. Strong through your core, strong through your breath. One last full round wherever you are. And then listen, warrior two. Step your left foot to the back of your mat and open up. So your back foot, your left foot is parallel to the back edge of your mat. Your right toes face directly forward. Your hips are open. Your heart and your shoulders are open. Your shoulders stack right over your hips. You're not leaning forward, just nice and centered. As you bend your front knee, see if you can feel it track towards your pinky toe. So like you're trying to wrap your right butt cheek underneath your body. And then next time you breathe in, let's reverse our warrior. Front palm rotates up, reach back. Feel the length in your right side. Try to lift your right rib cage up away from your right hip. And then bend your front knee more and track it towards your pinky toe. Press into the outer edges of both feet. Your back hand, you can be on your hip for support. You can slide it down your back leg. You don't want a lot of weight there. You want to use your obliques to hold you. Sometimes I like to grab hold of my wrist. So variations are welcome. Last couple breaths. And then let's come back to warrior two. Straighten your front leg and shorten your stance just a little bit. So we're moving towards triangle. I like to shorten my stance just about 2 or 3 inches. So imagine there's a rope attached to your back hip and it's pulling back. So as that rope pulls back, you reach forward. So it's like something is pushing your hips back as you're reaching as far as you can. And then when you cannot reach anymore, just bring your right hand to your shin or to a block or to the ground, left arm to the sky. So you do not have to touch the ground if this is what happens, and watch me. So this is collapsing in this pose. So you don't need to touch the ground. If this is what happens, my heart is now looking down, then stay up a little higher. Use a block under this right hand or just set your hand on your shin. Heart stays open and hips stay open. Shoulders stay open. If you want to, take your left arm behind your back, wrap it around and see if you can kind of bring your fingers to grab hold of your front thigh, your right thigh. Maybe gaze up, or if it feels good, this would be forest yoga style. Just let your head be heavy and feel the length in the left side of your neck. Breathe into that length. So head heavy and gaze down. All right, my friends, moving into half moon because we're advanced today. Oh my God, it's so scary. Half moon pose. We're going to reach our right hand forward. You can take a block with you and maybe you still got your left arm behind your back. Go for it. So you do you. Back foot floats up off the ground. Heart stays open. Hips stay open. I'm going to extend my left arm up now. So you find your variation of this pose, even if it's falling in and out of it a million times. If you are in it, back leg strong, back foot active. So stomp your back foot onto an invisible wall. Take one last huge breath, your fullest expression. See if you can land in a warrior two. So bend your front knee and step your back foot down. Woo wee. If you didn't land in warrior two, take a moment to adjust, no biggie. Straighten your front leg again. Now parallel your feet so all of your toes face the long edge of your mat. Arms to the sky, inhale. And take it all the way down. Wide-legged straddle, wide-legged forward fold. We'll be here hanging out for about 5 deep breaths. So anywhere you want to take this, it might be nice to make it a little more restful if that's what your body needs. Where you can play, make it more challenging. You can play with a headstand, handstand hops, twists, skandasana. Make sure wherever you choose to go, your breath is right there with you. Open mouth sighs at any time. All right, my friends. Last breath. And then come to a halfway lift with your fingertips on the ground. So bend your knees as much as you need to. Walk your hands to the top of your mat so you come into a low lunge position. And from your low lunge position, standing splits, right foot roots down, left leg floats up. Let your neck relax and your head be heavy. See if you can feel your core and use it to lift you out of your right leg. So rather than feeling like all of your weight is coming down into your right foot, lift yourself up. Use the energy in your center all the way up in your left toes. Spread your left toes. Take one more big inhale. And then exhale, forward fold, top of your yoga mat. You can give your right leg a little shaky shake or pedal out your heels. Forward fold. Find your breath. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Rise all the way to stand, arms reach up, inhale, stretch. Hands to heart, exhale. Flow with breath, inhale, high mountain. Dive down ever so slowly, hinge at your hips all the way down. Lift halfway, inhale. And exhale, plant your hands, feet back, plank or modified plank. Inhale at the top of your push-up. Everything is strong. Exhale, slowly lower for 3, 2, 1. Lift your heart, peel it open as you inhale. And then for a moment, let's take a break, take a rest, child's pose. And if child's pose doesn't feel restful for you, if it doesn't feel good and restful in your body, then choose something different. I'm going to sit up into hero's pose. You can do the same if you'd like. Just whatever feels good to you. Take a moment, just kind of recalibrate. Feel right side versus left side. Just notice how you are. Downward facing dog. And fire up your enjoiiii breath. Inhale, left leg to the sky, 3-legged down dog. And just be here for a moment. You could open your hip if you want to. You could point, flex, take some circles with your knee. Stay connected to your center and stay rooted through your fingers. One more in breath. Now use your exhale and use your strong core. Step your left foot all the way up top of your space. And then rise to a crescent lunge. You can take your time. Strong legs, strong foundation. And then your upper body is your expression. So it doesn't mean you have to do anything fancy or anything, but what do you want to embody and invite in today? What do you want to feel in your crescent lunge? And is there a way you could embody it? Maybe by spreading your fingers or maybe by bending your elbows. So experience the sensation of this pose. How does it feel in your body? Take one more round of breath. And then at the bottom of your exhale, hinge forward and bring your hands to your front thigh. Push, actively push your hands into your thigh and pull your belly button back towards your spine. So it should feel almost like you're rounding your low back or puffing it up. Lean forward and maybe you give yourself just a slight little push off your back toes, propel yourself, and then come into your balance. So hips stay square. This side is so much harder for me. You might notice the same. You might notice this side's easier. So be in your pose and breathe. Play with it. Maybe left arm reaches forward. So left arm forward, right leg back. If you want to, you do not have to. Long spine, strong through your core, connected to your center. Last big deep breath in your personal expression. And then we're going to see if we can land in a warrior two. So right foot steps back and everything opens up. If you didn't land in a warrior two, take a moment to adjust. Come into warrior two. Left toes face directly forward and right toes face directly to the right. Hips are open, heart is open, shoulders are open, and your shoulders are stacked right over your hips. Notice if you're shrugging your shoulders up and see if you can let them melt down a little more. Next time you inhale, reverse warrior. So front palm rotates up, reach back. Keep the deep bend in your left knee. And keep tracking your left knee towards your pinky toe, pressing the outer edges of both of your feet. And then lift your left rib cage up away from your left hip. Breathe into that space. Breathe into your left waistline. Soften around it. Soften your face. Last couple rounds. And then let's come back into warrior two. From warrior two, straighten your front leg. Shorten your stance just a little bit. 1, 2, or 3 inches. All right. So remember that invisible rope, it attaches to the outside of your right hip and it pulls back. And it's also like something's pushing this front hip, it's pushing it back. So your hips are being pulled back and you're reaching forward as far as you can with your left fingertips. When you can't reach anymore, then just bring your left hand to your shin or to a block or to the ground, but do not collapse through your heart. Heart stays open. Shoulders stay open, hips stay open. If you want to, right arm could wrap behind you. You might even grab hold of the front of your left quad muscle. So be where you're at in your triangle pose and breathe. Keep pressing that crease of your left hip. Keep pushing it back. Reach the crown of your head forward. And then from here, we're moving into our balance. Half moon. So take a block with you if you've got one at home. Otherwise, I just bring my left fingertips to the ground. You can also use a book or a water bottle. Anything you've got. Back foot floats up. Keep it strong. So imagine you're stomping it onto an invisible wall. Imagine you karate kicked with your right leg and it got frozen in space. Heart open, hips open. Last couple of rounds in your expression. Be playful. If you're falling out, totally fine. That's why we're doing this. We're practicing. See if you can land in a warrior two. Maybe softly and gracefully. Okie doke. From warrior two, straighten your front leg again, but turn all of your toes to face the long edge of your mat. So feet are now parallel, facing the long edge of your mat. Take your arms up. Inhale. This time, hands behind your back as you exhale. Interlace your fingers. Roll your shoulders back and down. Shoulder blades squeeze towards your spine. And then if you can, reach your hands back. And lift your heart. Lift your gaze. Take a great big huge inhalation. Hinge at your hips. Exhale all the way down. So you are now in a wide-legged forward fold with your fingers interlaced. Without your hands on the ground. You have to use your core here to work this pose. So see if you can feel your core holding you and lift your butt higher. So think sit bones towards the sky, crown towards the ground. Squeeze through the fronts of your thighs. Maybe reach your knuckles further up or even start to reach them forward. If this is too much to have your hands clasped, you can let that part go at any time. I think I'm actually going to let it go today. We've got about 2 more rounds of breath, so you do you. If you still have your clasp, bring your hands to your low back and then release your clasp. Everybody, halfway lift. Inhale, fingertips on the ground. Bend your knees if you need to. Walk your hands to the top of your space. You're in a low lunge. From low lunge, standing splits. So one-legged forward fold. Relax your neck. Let your head be heavy. Lift your right leg. Spread your right toe. See if you can feel your core engaging to lift you out of your left leg. Good. Nice work. Breathe. One more big, huge inhale, lift, lengthen, spread your right toes, and then forward fold, step it down and shake out your left leg. Shaky, shaky, shake. Enjoiiii breath. Sorry, I just need to blow my nose. All right. From forward fold, my friends. Listen, we're going to come into a tiny little potato bug ball. So walk your big toes together until they touch, and then tuck and curl, tiny little potato bug ball. Now, from tiny little potato bug ball, we're going to roll all the way back onto our back. So if this scares you, you do not have to do this. But if you feel like you can, just rock back, rock forward and back a few times, and then see if you can rock back onto your tiptoes. So you're on your feet again, and then rock back. Do that a few times, just playfully. Rock up, see if you can rock to tiptoes, tiny little potato bug ball. And then if you want to get really crazy, this is so advanced, you guys are gonna die of the advancedness of this. Ready? You can rock up, crow pose. Crow pose, rock back, and just play with it. Crow pose. Halloween crow pose. Just have fun for a second, and if this is like the last thing that feels fun for you, just be on your back and rock side to side instead. Eventually we'll all end up on our back rocking side to side. So take your time playing if you're having fun with it. But then eventually just rock it out on your back. All right. And after a few rocks side to side on your back, set yourself up for a bridge pose. So feet on the ground with knees bent. Start with your arms down by your sides. And with your arms by your sides, you should be able to graze the back of your heels with your middle finger. So if you can't, scoot your feet a little closer to your upper body. Feet are hips width distance apart, all of your toes face directly forward. And we are going to start just by moving our pelvis. So this is advanced because you really have to tune in to feel it. A lot of people actually can't feel their pelvis move in this way. So we're starting to bring more awareness into our pelvic tilt. Exhale, pull your belly button down, scoop your tailbone up. This is a posterior pelvic tilt. And inhale, press your tailbone down, feel your low back lift away from the ground. Anterior pelvic tilt. Exhale, posterior, pull your belly button down, scoop your tailbone up. And inhale, tailbone presses down, low back lifts. Go back and forth just like that a few more times. Feeling your pelvis tilt forward and tilt back. And notice right in the middle, that happy medium, that's called neutral. How does that feel? Does it feel really uncomfortable? Does it feel really familiar? As you move back and forth, does this feel like a smooth transition, or does it feel like it's kind of gets caught and catches. It might feel just uncomfortable or awkward, and that's okay. Notice that and get curious about that. Next time you exhale, tuck your tailbone, and then inhale, peel your entire spine up. So come into your full bridge. And from full bridge, invitation to kind of shimmy your shoulders underneath you and bring your fingers, interlace your fingers, clasp your hands together underneath you. You do not have to, this is just an option. We'll stay and hold here for about 5 breaths. Press through your heels, press through the inner edges of your feet. Hug in with your inner thighs like you're squeezing an invisible yoga block. You should be able to pick up your toes and spread your toes here. Press into the back of your head and the back of your shoulders. Breathe down into your belly. Breathe down into the front of your hips. Imagine you're trying to reach your knees and your shins forward and away from your upper body. Take about 2-3 more breaths, staying in bridge, holding. Soften your face. Soften your forehead. Good job. Now, stay in your bridge, but just slowly shimmy your shoulders out from underneath you. Reach your arms straight up towards the ceiling. One more inhale. As you exhale, one vertebra at a time, set your spine back on the ground. Once you're back in a neutral spine, tee out your arms. So arms reach out to both sides. Walk your feet out to the width of your mat, but your knees are still bent, your feet are still on the ground, and just take a few rounds of windshield wipers side to side. All right. Finish the round your own, come back to center. And then we're going to do a little bit of core work. So bring your feet hips width distance apart and then just lift them up. If you have a block at home, you can bring it on the smallest setting in between your inner thighs or inner knees. Not like knees, but it doesn't have to be super close to your pelvis, whatever feels good. If you don't have a block, then just bring your legs together, squeeze your legs together, and reverse tabletop. So knees right over your hips, not knees over your belly. So you don't want to pull your knees really close. You want to keep them right over your hips. And then shins parallel to the ground for now. Bring your hands behind your head and interlace your fingers. All right. So if this feels good and like enough for you, you are more than welcome to keep this bend in your knees the entire time. Otherwise, we're going to start to work our legs to straight. If you can straighten your legs all the way, awesome. If they have to bend a little bit, then wherever they feel kind of at their edge, that happy, I don't want to say happy medium because it is a little bit uncomfortable, but it doesn't feel like it's pulling on your low back. Bring your legs to that place. So whatever feels best for you, but your knees are still stacked over your hips. And then we're just going to lift our upper body. And once you've lifted your upper body, make sure your head is relaxing back into your hands so your neck is not straining. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, pull your low belly down, tuck your tailbone, and reach your toes up towards the sky. So your tailbone is lifting. And then relax that, come back to neutral. We're going to do that a few times. Draw your low belly down, scoop your tailbone up, and reach your toes up. Lift, 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 pull low belly down, squeeze, and release. One last time like that. Pull low belly down, scoop tailbone up, lift. Now, take your hands from behind your head and reach them up. If your legs are extended, try to touch your toes. If they're not extended, just reach as high as you can. Draw your low belly down. Squeeze your legs together, squeeze your block. Breathe. And let it go. Bring the soles of your feet together. So if you're using a block, set it to the side. Soles of your feet together, knees open wide. If you want, you are more than welcome to simply relax right here. Otherwise, press the soles of your feet together and lift your butt up. Squeeze through your outer glutes and press your knees towards the ground as you lift your butt up a little bit higher. Keep squeezing and lifting. Press your heels and the soles of your feet together firmly. Soften your face. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lift, lift, lift. Imagine somebody is there pressing your knees down, but you're pressing against them. Lift your hips higher. If you feel shakes, that's okay. Let it shake. The sacred tremble. Hold here for 3. Squeeze, lift, 2. Squeeze, lift, and 1. Let it go. Lift your knees up. Hug your knees in. Gently rock side to side. Okay, friends, we're gonna meet back in a down dog, so you can get there however you want to, or you can follow me, and this will be just a fun, playful way to get there. Please be fun and playful rather than critical with yourself. So, I'm going to start rocking and rolling forward and back. After a few rocks and a few rolls, I'm gonna rock up, cross my ankles. I did not do what I was gonna do. You can cross your ankles, or you can do what I just did. Plant my hands. I'm gonna play with crow for a second. And then from crow, I'm going to jump back into chaturanga, but you do not have to jump back. You can set your feet down and step back. I'm moving through a vinyasa slowly. I didn't do that the best. I didn't do that super gracefully, so do as I say, not as I do. All right. Downward facing dog, my friends. Inhale your right leg high. Exhale, pigeon pose, right shin to the top of your space. Gently bring your body down. Pull your right hip back and up. So it's like there's a rope attached to your right butt cheek, pulling back and up. Heart bows forward and down. And then breathe. Big, spacious breath. Just notice whatever there is to notice. Take about 3, 4, 5 more rounds. Last couple of breaths, sigh with your exhale. And then start to lift your upper body. And we're gonna come into a 3-legged tabletop. So plant your hands and kind of just scoot your back knee forward. Unthread your right leg and give it a nice little shaky shake. After a few shakes, pivot on your left knee. So your left foot comes to the outside of your mat like a kickstand, and then right arm reaches up. You are in a modified side plank. You can set your right foot down if you want to, otherwise keep it lifted and maybe reach your right arm forward. Maybe even bind the pose, bend your right knee, reach back, grab hold of your foot. Kick foot into hand, pull hand back into foot, press your hips forward, open through your front body and breathe into it. Take one last huge breath wherever you are, and slowly, bottom of your exhale, come back to a tabletop, regular hands and knees. From your tabletop, we'll move into a thread the needle posture. Invitation to gate your left leg out to the left. So toes face directly forward. And the sole of your foot presses down. So it's like a half wide-legged straddle. Right arm out to the right, all the way up. Inhale here. And then exhale, thread it through and rest down. Any way you want to work this pose. If you don't like having your left leg extended, then no biggie. Just put your left knee back on the ground. Take intentional breaths into your back body. All the way to empty with every exhalation. And if you happen to have your left hand lifted, bring your left hand back to the ground. Next inhale, unthread your right arm, reach it out, reach it up. And then right hand down, pick up your left foot. So whether or not you had it extended, just reach your left leg back, left toes off the right edge of your mat. Pull your hips over to the left and gaze back over your right shoulder. So lengthen through your left side body. Oh, breathe into it, maybe lean into it. Come back to tabletop. And come back to downward facing dog. If you want to move through your own quick vinyasa, go for it. Otherwise, just take a moment, walk it out. All right, hey, inhale your left leg back and up. Pigeon pose, left shin to the top of your space. Gently bring your body down. Set yourself up very intentionally, so pull your left hip back and up. It's like there's that invisible rope pulling back and up as your heart bows forward. And breathe. Big intentional breath. Think about 5 more. Open your mouth at any point and exhale, sigh. Ah. All right, in your next couple of rounds, we're gonna come into that three-legged tabletop again. So as you are ready, just start to lift your upper body and plant your hands firmly. Spread your fingers. Curl your back toes under and start to scoot your back knee forward, unthread your left leg. Give it that nice little shake out. After a few shakes, we'll come into our modified side plank. So opening up, right foot comes off the side of your mat. It will support you like a little kickstand. And then if you want to set your left foot down, totally fine. Otherwise, left leg lifted. Option to reach your left arm forward, lengthen through your left side. Only if you want to. Final option, bind your pose. So bend your knee, reach back, grab hold of your foot. And then gentle leverage, kick foot into hand, pull hand back into foot. See if you can press your hips forward more, let them open more. Breathe, soften, last big, huge, full body breath. And then tabletop, regular hands and knees. From here, moving towards our thread the needle, option to gate your right leg out to the right this time, straight out from your hip, toes face forward, left arm out, left arm up. Inhale. And then thread it through as you exhale. And just be here with your breath. Slow, spacious. All the way to empty every exhalation. Okay, last 2 or 3 rounds. If you happen to have your right hand lifted, bring it back to the ground. On an inhale, unthread your left arm, reach it out and up once more. Left hand down. And then pick up your right foot, take your right toes off the left edge of your mat. Side body stretch so your hips reach over to the right as you gaze back over your left shoulder at your tiptoes. And breathe, lean into it, feel what can you get here, all the juice, get it out. One last big deep breath. Back to tabletop. One last down dog or one last child's pose or one last vinyasa. It's up to you, whatever you would like. And then from wherever you chose to go, however you want to get there, find your way down onto your back. And as you move down onto your back, face whichever direction you would like to, and just hug your knees in, rock side to side. I'm going to do one more core exercise, and this is from Forest Yoga. It's super strange if you ask me, but some people really like it. Okay, so it's called Star Spiraling Pulse. Start just like we did before, knees right above your hips, shins parallel to the ground, and bring your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. All right, extend your left leg up towards the sky, keep your right knee bent. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, lift your upper body up off the ground, relax your head back into your hands. All right, now turn your left toes in. So it's like you're trying to pigeon toe your left foot. So you're internally rotating through your left hip joint if you can. And then keep your upper body lifting, relax your head into your hands. And see if you can lift. So tuck your tailbone and lift your left leg up 3 times. Pulse. 2, just your left leg lifts, and then let it go. Rotate your left toes in even more and do that again. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Release. Rotate your left toes in. Lift even more. Draw low belly down. And pulse that left leg. Pulse, lift up. Pulse. It's so strange, right? Relax. So let everything go. Bend both knees. And just take a breath or 2. Extend your right leg up. Lift your upper body again. Spiral your right toes in, point your heel out, and then see if you can lift your right butt cheek up. Tuck your tailbone, lift 3 times, pulse it, and then release for just a moment. Take an extra breath, let it wash over you. Toes rotate in like you're pigeon toeing your right foot. Lift, pulse, 2, 3, and relax. We've got one more round. Take a moment, Spiral your toes in even more. And pulse. Pulse. Draw low belly down, pulse. Release, bend your knees, relax your head. Bring your feet down. Constructive rest. So feet wide, knees in. Do whatever feels good with your arms. My hands are still behind my head. You can extend yours out to both sides or just relax them wherever you want. After a few breaths here in constructive rest, do the opposite. Soles of your feet together and let your knees open wide. Take a few breaths with your knees open. And then after a few breaths here, we're going to turn it into some windshield wipers. So, just side to side at your own pace. Go slow enough that you can really feel what's happening in your hips and your low back. So not doing this just to do it and rush through it mindlessly. Do it slowly and feel what's happening in your body. What feels good? What feels stiff? Where's your breath? Is there anywhere it gets stuck? And then after a few rounds of these, take your time. After a few rounds, come back to center. And happy baby pose. I'm trying to think with that star spiraling pulse. I think you're supposed to reach your opposite elbow maybe up towards your foot. I'm gonna have to look it up. I haven't taught that for so long. So it's very possible I did it wrong, you guys, but we still got something out of it. So happy baby it out. Maybe bow and arrow your legs, extend one as you pull the other one closer. Maybe bring your feet together. So play in your happy baby, embody a happy baby. Just play in your body. And then from happy baby friends, any other poses you want to take to complete your practice? Anything your body is calling for? Anything that would feel good to you? And then start to make your way into your Shavasana. No hurry. Take your time. So let your breath, as you start to settle into your own final resting pose, let your breath become more and more effortless. Let your body take over eventually and just start to breathe you. Here's a little reading as you just slowly drift off into your Shavasana. Nothing feels all the way right at the beginning because nothing is completely familiar at the beginning. What you often don't account for is that your sense of comfort and correctness tends to be rooted in familiarity. You guys know the word. The question is not whether something makes you feel immediately as though you're unquestionably fated for it, but whether or not it grows with you, whether or not it gives you the opportunity to stretch and to change and to become better. That is the true test of what is right, not what instantly falls into place, but what entwines its roots with yours and allows you to most fully blossom. Not what shows up instantly and unexpectedly, but what stays and what remains through it all. So this practice you have, and this breath you have, and this body you have, this is what stays and remains through it all. Everything in life is going to come and go. But this breath, this body, this connection to yourself, it will stay and remain with you. It's always there, waiting for you. And it doesn't always feel absolutely comfortable to be in your body. But it will always take you back to that part of you that is steady and that is unchanging and unmoving. That witness perspective. Just be there for these last couple moments. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And just start to come back into your body, into your physical space, into this physical world. Start to move gently, wiggle, and eventually find your way onto your side. And then from your side, eventually up into seated meditation. And for one last moment, just sit and gather your hands to your heart and bow your head and acknowledge yourself for taking time to connect. Thank you so much for letting me guide you. Namaste. All right, my friends, easy. How do you say that word? Familiarity? Is that right?
Sounds perfect.
It's great.
Thanks,
Speaking
Katie.
English is hard sometimes. Okay, thanks, friends. Love
Thanks
you.
so much. Bye.
Bye.